Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today for our free webinar titled Optimize Your LinkedIn Profile and led by Julie. Julie is Leadership Savvy's founder, and for 20 years, she has supported hundreds of leaders in achieving real, meaningful change. She has led innovative and award-winning cross-sector initiatives, developed a range of leadership certificate programs, as well as coached and recruited diverse executive and emerging leaders. In each of these roles, she expanded and trained staff, doubled revenue and budgets, and created lasting systems change. Her supportive and engaging approach makes her a welcome strategist, trainer, facilitator, and coach. Questions are encouraged throughout this webinar, and if you could type them into your control panel, there's a button that says questions, and you can open that and type questions into us. We will read them aloud to be answered by Julie. And if you have any questions throughout them, please type them in. Thank you so much. And Julie, I'm going to hand it over to you now.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. So wonderful to join you this afternoon after the holidays. So thank you for being here. We're going to dive right in, and our goal today is that you walk away really excited to be engaged on LinkedIn and have some really concrete takeaways for you to be able to leverage your LinkedIn to make the connections that matter most to you and to your career future. As a nonprofit government education focused leadership consultant, LinkedIn is definitely the place that I go to stay connected with my contacts and to expand my network. So you'll see on the agenda today that not only will we talk about how to position yourself on LinkedIn, but we're going to kick off with thinking about your personal brand. What is the brand that you want to put out there into the world? It is also a great place to be seen as an expert and a resource. I'm going to give you some really specific ways that you can set up your LinkedIn to position yourself as somebody to reach out to. And once you're on LinkedIn, how do you engage the network that you have, as well as expand that network? So that's what we'll focus on for optimizing your LinkedIn today. So why did we choose LinkedIn? It is still the big whale for professional groups. It's huge. There are over 500 million members. 61 million of them are senior level influencers. They work at companies that are well respected, have lots of different positions if you are interested in connecting with those professionals or job opportunities. And 40 million LinkedIn users are the decision makers. What that means that those that as you advance your career, the people you want to get in front of are on LinkedIn. What's interesting is LinkedIn is actually a place where a lot of professionals and executives go to when they have questions. So for example, when COVID hit and executives and professionals, even managers were wondering, now what? What do we do with our teams? How do we work remotely? What does a layoff or furlough mean? And what HR rules and regulations do I need to stay abreast of during this transition? LinkedIn was a place where people were sharing resources and going there to research resources. So it's also a great place professionally to get resources. For today, we really want to focus on LinkedIn because it's a place for others to find you. So we'll teach you how to set up your profile so that you are searchable. It's also a place where people go to validate who you are. Maybe you met them at another webinar. I was going to say conference, but in today's world, so much of it is online. Or they heard about you from a friend, or maybe they saw a post that you shared. They're going to go to your LinkedIn page and kind of validate what they think they know about you, or gain clarity on who you are and the topics that you have expertise in. And finally, it's a place where they can connect with you. So we want to make it easy for them to connect with you for the right reasons. So before we dive into the specifics and the technical pieces of LinkedIn, I wanted to make sure that we take a very important moment to think about your personal brand. This is important for anybody who has a professional career. So you might be gainfully, happily employed in your job and looking to climb the leadership ladder. Or you might be someone who's thinking, this is a stepping stone to my next job. Or you may be in job transition. wherever you are in that career path, it's important that you think about, who am I as a professional? What industry or industries am I working in and interested? What am I passionate about? Why do I do this work? And then think about, if these are the truths in your life, or these are the things you are interested in, what does it mean in terms of where you are going? Are you interested in changing the world, in being a part of economic reform, or environmentalism, or is it working with children and youth development in the education system? Maybe it's not a specific cause. Maybe where you are going is more role related. Do you love operations, or HR, or mentoring people? So maybe it's not cause specific, but role specific. And we want to make sure that whatever that definition of you that you are passionate about, that really shines through on your LinkedIn profile. So you'll hear me say this in different ways a couple times through this webinar, is I don't want your LinkedIn profile to simply be a reflection of your past or your current. I also want it to paint a picture of your future. I want folks to be able to find you, get excited about you, and help you connect to the right things that help you propel your future and not only stay anchored in the past. So we're going to assume that you will take a moment to have some of these thoughts and reflections, and then you can dive into updating your LinkedIn profile. So now we're going to dive into the specifics of how you would update your LinkedIn profile so that you can connect others with your personal brand. All right, so here's the fundamentals, and they're obvious but really important. And the great thing is I'm going to show you a few screenshots so that you can see specifically what I'm talking about and see some examples, so you can think about if you would like to update your profile in the same way. So first of all is your professional headshot. It may seem pretty obvious that you would want to have a good photo, but you want to think about a few things. Does this photo represent who I am right now, what I look currently like? If you had a dramatic haircut, you should probably retake your photo so that people can recognize you the way you currently look like. And is it professional in the way that you want to be conveyed to the world? So it's not necessary that you have a suit and tie or a career professional dress, but think about how do you usually want to be seen in the world, and make sure that there's some alignment there. And of course, a lot of these headshots show you in a little bit more of a made up light, right? People often put a little bit more makeup on, or they have special lighting. It's okay that this is a little bit more professional than your everyday look, but you don't want it to be too far off where people can't recognize you if they did see you in person. And finally, I see photos where people have cropped it out of another photo, so you can kind of see signs of the grocery store they were in or their significant other. Try your best to just take a moment. Your cell phones today take really quality photos, so go ahead, get somebody who else is in your household and help you update your professional headshot. Just try some good lighting throughout the house or outside your house and update that professional headshot. It's really important. It's a first impression. So after your headshot, there's a headline that you'll be able to update, and then you'll be able to provide a summary of who you are and your qualifications and things that you are interested in. And finally, as you scroll down your profile page, you'll be able to share some of your professional accomplishments. So I'm going to show you some examples now so you can see what each of those sections are and gain some ideas that you may want to update your sections similarly. All right. We're going to start with the headline. So this is underneath your picture, underneath your name. Here are two examples. So the first one is mine. It's actually a very straightforward approach. It has my title and then a few of the roles that I play professionally. So this is a really simple way to create a subject line for who you are. So you can do it that way. Or I really like Rodney Walker's profile as well. His headline features his results. So a number of people do not only put their current role, but also put a little statement so that you immediately know the type of impact this person makes on the world. So those are two different ways to have a headline. And remember, on some devices, you only see the first few words. So make sure that at the beginning, that short headline, it reads clearly and makes sense. So if you have a very long sentence, it might just know that it may be cut off on some devices, such as a cell phone. So next, you would have an about section. It is your professional summary. These are two examples. The second one is a little bit longer. I wouldn't go any longer than Richard's about section, but I'm sharing you both. And just a note, I think if you'd like, you can zoom in. If some of the text is too small, take a screenshot and then you can zoom in later. But I like June's and Richard's for very different reasons. June is an HR professional. You can see her bio is very short and sweet, but wow, does she pack in really a lot of good keywords. So you can see she is a very skilled individual with a lot of HR knowledge and expertise. So if you're working in an industry where there's a lot of key search terms that professionals may be looking for support, it's great to pack your profile with those terms. It not only helps individuals, but it also helps the LinkedIn algorithms, the LinkedIn computer find you. So oftentimes when people go into LinkedIn, they maybe are searching for HR resource in Los Angeles, and then June's name would pop up. So these keywords are really important to put throughout your LinkedIn profile, not only in the about section. So now let's look at Richard's. His is a little different. I like his because he tells more of a story about his journey. He does work in an organization where it's all about storytelling, so he's got a leg up on many of us, but I think it's something that really, it reads in a very friendly tone. So you can feel free to use this approach as well. It's not immediately as clearly jam-packed with keywords, but he did a very smart thing. At the very end of his bio, he put expertise and threw in a bunch of keywords on the bottom, which is also one great way to list your keywords. One other thing I'd like to note is the first sentence that he provides is, I've grown PlusMe from 40,000 staff, one organization, to $300,000 and a staff of 6 organizations. Sorry if I misread it a little bit, but the idea is he's really shown the growth over time. So if you want to start your bio by having an impact sentence, something that gives a little bit of wow factor, oftentimes it's a numerical based descriptor showing the impact you've made. That's also a really great thing to do because it ties the person in and invites them to continue reading. So let's move on to the professional experience part of your LinkedIn profile. At this point, you would have scrolled down at least halfway down the page. It's a little further down. I have 2 examples here. This is how you would list your job experience, your professional experience. The reason I chose these 2 are they present it in a very different way. Sarah has chosen to use some bullet points by just adding dashes into the description to provide some very distinct accomplishments and experiences that she had when she worked at Deloitte, or she still works at Deloitte. Then there's Misha on the bottom left. She lists in her profile, instead of bullet points, she provides a very meaty paragraph, giving you a real sense of what it was like to be in that job. And I love that she really conveys her interest in helping to develop her team. And so you really feel the passion come through in her description. Both examples are great. They hit a lot of keywords that will be easy for individuals and for algorithms to be able to find what their expertise is and make them searchable. So for you, do what is comfortable for you. If writing a paragraph just seems daunting, then start writing a few bullet points, and you can always revert back to a paragraph or vice versa. I personally like bullet points because it's easier to read, but some people do like the shorter paragraphs. Both look good. and the length is a good length, a few lines, maybe 3 bullet points to 5 bullet points maximum, and about 5 to 7 lines of text, I would say, is maximum if you were doing a paragraph form. All right, so congratulations. At this point, you have updated the foundation of your LinkedIn profile. You've got a strong LinkedIn profile at this point if you've gone through and updated the sections that we've discussed already. So the next phase of your LinkedIn engagement would be to be seen, right? Now you're on LinkedIn, how do you connect? How do you get noticed? I wanted to note at the top there, you can see the statistic there, that there are 9 billion weekly impressions. That means of the 500 million users, that many of them are online a lot, right? It's one of you wake up in the morning or before you go to bed, you're on your cell phone checking out your social media sites, or you're at work searching for the next resource or professional news updates. So that's 900 billion sets of eyeballs each week that are looking on LinkedIn. Here's the kicker. Of all of those impressions and people, only 3 million of those people are actually sharing on LinkedIn. What does that mean? That means that if you take the time to share, to post, to reply to somebody's share or post, to upload your own article, it is very likely that it will be seen, especially by the people that you are connected with. So there are a lot of eyeballs on LinkedIn, and very few in comparison actually share on LinkedIn. So what I'm saying is it is worth investing your time, at least a couple days a week, to post something or to engage on LinkedIn, because it will get noticed. LinkedIn also notices how often you post or how often you review your homepage feed, so you can see what other people are posting and sharing. They're also taking note of how long you sit on a post or an article, and if you comment meaningfully. So you could simply just do a thumbs up as a response, or choose a different icon, maybe the clapping hands as you celebrate what they're sharing. That's a light way to engage. Or you can type in a reply and tell them why that was really helpful to read about. Or go a little deeper, hit the share button, and then it shows up on your own homepage, and write a little sentence about why you've shared it, why you think this is useful information for others, right? So there's these different levels of engagement. And LinkedIn does track this. So as you engage with people or on certain topics, you'll start to see those people or those topics pop up on your news feed more. So what you're creating is a kind of community. You're getting known for being within those network of people, or within that topic area, that space. And so slowly you're developing kind of an online profile and an online group of peers. I'm going to show you a couple examples. And before we leave this page, I wanted to mention a couple of things. That when you create your own article, it is recommended that you create a list article. So not a long article with lots of paragraphs, but rather a list article, like maybe top 5 tips, or 3 things I learned. Odd numbers for an odd reason, catch people's attention, and they can remember your tips better. So that's what research has shown, is try to use an odd number when you create a list article. It also makes writing a little bit easier. So I recommend you try that if you have not already. Articles initially don't get as many views because it takes a while for you to gain a base of readers. So I would recommend that you don't post articles like every day or every week. Try something a little bit smaller, right? Maybe post once a month, and just try posting articles if you have not already. And then post. So if you're reading other people's posts, that's great. But you should start practicing uploading your own original posts, and those you'll find people will read more often. You're going to get a lot more visibility on a post initially compared to an article. So they have different functions. A post, somebody's going to read today, tomorrow, maybe a few days from now, but over time that post will disappear. It just becomes old news. An article, on the other hand, will stay on your profile page for a long time. So you may have written an article 5 months ago, and someone comes to your profile page today, clicks on articles, and they'll be able to see, oh wow, you've written 10 articles on these topics. Now they have associated you as an expert in those topic areas. So that's one of the benefits of articles, is they have a bit more longevity, even though it takes a little longer for people to really, a larger number of people to see them. Finally, anytime you can, as you're posting and sharing and uploading reports, use the hashtag, mention others, connect with other people, organizations, businesses, and use hashtags so that people know what topic you are talking about. So again, if you were uploading an HR resource, make sure you hashtag HR resource or COVID resource HR, right? And if you're posting about this webinar, right, hashtag leadership savvy, or at is the company name or a person's name, at leadership savvy, at Julie Ha Truong, at Nonprofit Learning Lab. These cross sharing make sure that the other person knows that you are talking about them, right? They'll feel really appreciative that you have acknowledged them. And in the future, they're more likely to acknowledge you. Also, when you hashtag or use the @ sign to let people know this article is related to them, not only does your network see your post, but their network will also very likely see the post. So you've just expanded your reach to the entire reach that they also have. So it's a great way to expand your reach. And finally, if you really want to be found specifically as you're job searching, you'll want to turn on seeking a job. And you go into your privacy settings and you scroll down, and there's a specific button that you would push, and you want to be found by recruiters. So make sure you're turning that on if you are ready to let the world know, at least to let recruiters know that you are looking for a job. But remember, your own company's recruiters can probably see that too. So you got to think about if you're ready for that. So here are the examples that I promised you I would share. So these are two different posts side by side. On the left is an example of me resharing somebody else's post. So this was originally California Community Foundation's post, and it really was a great resource early in the coronavirus days. So I wanted to share it with my network. And it was great because immediately within a couple days, I got almost 300 views. And then you'll see on the right-hand side, I created an original post. So this is a new post that I put together. I found a picture that I liked, and I shared with other a little bit about what this was about. I did use the @ symbol to connect myself to the Lao Assistance Center of Minnesota. I used another @ symbol to connect it to their executive director. His name is Sunny Chattanavong. And then I connected it to my own business, Leadership Savvy. And you'll see I used 2 hashtags. So all of that magic brought me over 1,000 views. I am so confident that if I had not used any @ symbols to connect myself to the organization or to people, or use any hashtags, I would not have had nearly as many views on this post. So it's great to post, to write something, a short sentence that's meaningful, but it's even more important to use those @ symbols and hashtags so that you can reach a wider audience. All right. I just wanted to make sure that when you leave the seminar today, you take a moment to think about what is one thing that you are going to do to try and engage more on LinkedIn. So here are a few options, and it's important that you start at a place that you are comfortable. So if this is your first time posting something on LinkedIn, or it's been a while since you've posted, an easy thing to do is to maybe take a screenshot, not of this page, but of a different page, and then just talk about something you learned or excited to engage on LinkedIn, and then hashtag me or Nonprofit Learning Lab, right? Just to start to get in the practice of sharing with the world what you did today, right? It's really great in today's world. People actually connect better when you talk about real life, right? They can see you are a human being, that you are investing in yourself and taking a course where you can learn to be a better professional. People love that kind of behind the scenes post. It doesn't always have to be a big wow celebration post. Or you could choose a post. So go to your home page, their home feed, and look what other people are posting. And as you scroll down and you see an article that's interesting, that you kind of want to be affiliated with that topic, hit the share button. So choose one of those posts and share it with others and see what kind of feedback and engagement you get. So just a couple of ideas. And then C was create a totally original post. So maybe you watched a documentary that was really interesting and you wanted to relate it back to your work. Go ahead and post about it, right? So the options are endless for what you can post about. But start small. These are all about sharing a post or creating your own post. If you're a little bit more advanced, go ahead and write an article or come up with a short list of topics that you would like to write articles about, and then draft one and practice posting and sharing. So we're towards the end of the webinar now, and I wanted to make sure we take some time to talk about how you connect with others intentionally, especially some of the connections that you already have. With the world being so online these days, it's really important that we are staying connected professionally. It's so rewarding, honestly. I love celebrating the professional accomplishments of my friends and my peers around the globe, actually. And so this is a way that you can celebrate your career or the everyday things, as I mentioned, with your network. So one thing that people often forget to do is to upload the contacts that they already have, right? If you already have 400 people professionally that you know that are in your emails, why not migrate them over to LinkedIn and invite them? So I'm going to show you a slide on how to do that because that can be a little more difficult. And then once you have your contacts uploaded or you've connected and invited to connect with people on LinkedIn, you can use the LinkedIn search bar at the top to search your connections. So every so often, if I'm in need of a resource or a contact, I'll just go right up into that search bar and I'll say, ooh, I'm looking for a fund development officer, somebody who's really in the fundraising space. Oh, I really need someone who's in Kentucky. So I'm gonna type in that geographic area. And I can use some filters. If you choose the filter button and you'll see some drop-down options, you can continue to narrow your search. One of my favorite narrowing of the searches is finding someone who's my first level of contact, meaning I am friends with them or I've connected on LinkedIn. I usually also choose the second level contact. So it's not someone I know personally, but it's someone who my friends know. And so that's how I narrow, and then I'll reach out to them to connect. The most important thing when you connect with anyone that you know or that is new is remember relationships first. So many people have the end game in mind and we get impatient, I know. And so they just jump to the gun and they say, oh, I'm a professional here in this field and I see, oh, you're also in the tech industry. I'm looking for a job, right? So, or, oh, I want to meet for coffee sometime. But they don't take the time to really talk about why are you genuinely interested in that person? Take a moment to write a brief sentence on, oh, I saw that you posted about this or that you worked in this industry. That's really interesting because I work in that industry too. I just thought it might be great for us to connect sometime, right? So really think about it from relationships first. And then maybe at the end of that Zoom call or GoToWebinar call, you can then let them know, oh, by the way, do you know anyone else in the space? Because I'm thinking of a new job or I'm thinking of doing a research project on it. So that's another one of my tips is you don't necessarily have to ask that person for the answer. You could ask that person, hey, do you know anyone else, right? And so oftentimes they may say, oh yeah, I know someone else, but hey, I could help you too. And they might volunteer themselves. So it's a great way to keep your networking connections growing by asking them for other referrals as well. Here's the slide that I promised I would share. it's how you upload your email contacts. So if you go to My Network button at the top, this one is a screenshot from a computer, a laptop to be specific. So if you are on your phone, some of the functionality may be limited, so you may have to go to a computer to see this. So hit My Network at the top, and you'll see the screen kind of pop up. On the left-hand side, you'll see a list of your networks. The connections are the people that you already are connected with on LinkedIn. Contacts are the email addresses that you have uploaded into LinkedIn. They may include the connections at the top, but usually is an expanded list from your emails. So you'll see on the right-hand side an Add More Contacts option. So you'll want to click on that, and then they'll ask you, where would you like to upload from? So you can upload from an Excel file, maybe from your Google email. They give you a few options. So upload those emails, and then you can decide, do you want to invite everyone to become a LinkedIn contact, or you can just select the ones that you think would enjoy receiving your invitation to connect on LinkedIn. So that is how you upload your existing contacts into LinkedIn. So we made it through the whole LinkedIn optimization in 30 minutes. Congratulations. And I wanted to leave you with one other bonus, which is I'm happy to provide a few free resume LinkedIn reviews. If you are somebody who is in transition and or really thinking about how you take the next steps to advance your leadership role in your profession, please reach out. My website is leadershipsavvy.com. Just go and hit contact me and send me a little note that says where you are in your career leadership journey. And I'd be happy to provide you with a free review of your resume and LinkedIn, including kind of where you are on your career path. So I'm really excited to have connected with you today, and feel free to reach out to me on my website, and I look forward to getting to know you better. Good luck, everyone, on your LinkedIn updates. Feel free to connect with me and with Nonprofit Learning Lab so that we can continue to stay in contact on LinkedIn as well. I'm going to pass it back over to Nonprofit Learning Lab.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you so much for taking the time to present to our community today. We really enjoyed that presentation. And I do want to let everyone know, all you attendees, that we will be sending the recording from today and a PDF of Julie's slides out to you within 8 hours, probably, or by late tomorrow. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining it. And again, thank you, Julie, for taking the time to educate our community.
Thanks.
Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Bye.